everybody! We're back!
Hey!
Shocker! Technology didn't work again. Tonight we had the streaming all working great, but the frickin' microphone on the laptop wouldn't work. So I think we've decided that we're just going to record these
for your benefit.
Forward for your benefit, so you don't have to stare at us trying to figure solutions out while you're watching us.
So
and
super professional.
See my fat fingers in the camera every couple minutes as I'm typing. So we'll probably just be recording these and sending them out on Tuesdays or Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks. And maybe in the future we'll try live again.
If anybody would ever want to do live again, maybe we'll think about it in the future. But for your sake and for ours, I think we're just going to record them for you guys. So, and I know people like them, so that record it so they can go back and listen. That's kind of the feedback that we had anyway. So this will be just fine, and we'll make do. But.
Yes. So as you all probably remember, tonight's topic is whole or real food on a budget. So we're going to talk all about what our budgets are, where we shop, how we save money with our shopping, and some easy ways to save money so that hopefully you guys learn something from us and can start saving money but still eat really high quality, good food, real food like we talked about last week. And if you...
Go ahead.
No. If you missed last week's, I'm Melissa, and I am Molly's sister, if you could guess. I work in marketing full-time, and I have 2 daughters and a husband and a dog. And then on the side, I do lots of crafts. I do a blog, and I'm working on starting a side business to help people learn how to meal plan, how to shop, how to eat real foods.
So super big loser. She does nothing at all. Full-time job, kids.
I'm not busy
or
anything, but
no big deal. But I am a personal trainer. I'm Molly. I am married to George. I've got a little guy named Sully who's 18 months. I own my own personal training business, so I work part-time and I'm home part-time. And then what this series is about, we're just going to really quickly say, we're tying food and fitness together and how to make it work for the everyday person and work within a budget and into your everyday life. So let's talk a little bit about that budget. Budget's probably my least favorite word in my household, because when I hear the B word, I know it's time to sit down with our computers and our spreadsheet and go over last month's budget or the year's budget, which we just had for 2017. But it is a good thing to have. It keeps you on track. And if you're lucky enough to not have a budget, well, it must be nice. But if you're like most of us, you like to stay within a certain budget for your categories, whichever that may be. So let's get going.
Yeah. And then just something that we would like to request of you is that if you like this video, please share it with your friends, because we're trying to spread the word about our services and information that we're really passionate about and want to share with everyone. So feel free to share it if you think it's useful. So first off, we're just going to talk about real food on a budget. I think there's a misconception that real healthy food is expensive. And
thanks to Whole Foods.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are places where food is very expensive. I mean, I was just on Instagram stories talking about how an apple at Whole Foods tonight cost me $2.93 because it was an organic Honeycrisp, and I literally couldn't find a conventional Honeycrisp apple, so I paid almost $3 for an apple.
And yesterday at Aldi, I got my entire bag of apples for, I think, under $3, I think.
Probably $3 or $4.
I don't think I pay over $3 for anything at Aldi, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. So what we want to talk about today is how can you eat real food, healthy food, natural food on a budget. And then no matter what your budget is, you can afford healthy foods. So I was telling Molly, like, I don't necessarily have a strict amount of money I can spend every week on food, but I'm a cheap ass. So
got it from our mama.
My goal is to spend as little as possible on food. So I have a lot of tactics that I use so that we can make that happen.
And then you can spend your money in other ways. So you know, a lot of my personal training clients just talk about, well, I'm investing in you X amount of dollars a week, so I just don't think I can, I don't have the extra money, or how could I ever? It's like, well, you eat every week. I know you do. I know you eat every meal. So let's just talk about how we can make both work. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit different than Melissa. George and I, our income really fluctuates throughout the year. My husband owns his own tax business, and so we've got a lot of money coming in the beginning of the year, and then it's just very different the second half of the year. So we try and stay really, really consistent with our budget the entire year to just kind of forecast and keep it consistent. So she is a little bit more relaxed with the budget, but that doesn't mean she spends over her budget. And I am much more, we can only and do only spend this much no matter what. And if we go over, we put our wallets away. So truly.
Yeah, so we just wanted to share our personal weekly spending.
This is going to be a shocker, I think, to some people.
Yeah, so for me, it's me, my husband, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So we're all eating the same foods. My kids eat breakfast and lunch at daycare, but I take my breakfast and lunch to work, and my husband eats breakfast at home in the morning and then brings a lunch to work. And then we eat dinner at home at least 6 days a week. Occasionally we'll go out one night a week as a family, which is generally like pizza or gyros or something that's like under $30 for the family. So I
No Manny Steakhouse for your 3-year-old?
I mean, she probably needed, but so I kept track of my grocery spending over a month in November and December, and we spent a little over $450 that month on groceries, toilet paper and stuff like that from Costco, and I believe dog food was in there too.
You guys, that's crazy. A family of 4.
So that's
with toilet paper.
So that's an average of about $115 a week. And we'll talk more about where we shop, how we shop in a little bit, but Molly will share her weekly budget too.
Yeah, so our budget has always been $100 a week on food and beverages. Everything is included, and then also household items is included in that as well. So if we make a run to Sam's Club, usually once every 1 to 2 months, on average we spend about $106 every week on our grocery bill. We are a little bit different where we eat at home. Well, one of us is home at every single meal. So Sullivan has a nanny that comes to our house, so he eats home every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then George and I are always home for dinner. Well, usually we're all usually home at least, or George and I are home at least 2 meals a day, if not 3. And then Sullivan's home every meal a day. So
yeah. So it's not like we're spending this amount of money, but we're only eating 3 or 4 meals a week at home. We're
Right.
eating at home or taking food from home 90% of the time or more.
yeah.
So why don't we talk about our go-to stores?
I'm excited to talk about this. We
And-
got this down.
Yeah. So I think, we've already mentioned Aldi a bunch of times in our
Don't
in our
judge.
previous
Just
one
wait.
and our current one. So we're both huge Aldi lovers, and we're not getting paid to say that, but we would be happy to take an email from somebody at Aldi Corporate if they would like to reach out and work on a partnership. But we love Aldi, and we're going to go through all the reasons why pretty soon. But Aldi is my first stop pretty much every week. And the reason is we stop at Aldi first because it has the cheaper items. So we get as much as possible from Aldi because we know that we're going to spend less there than if we go and buy the same thing at Target.
Yep.
So Aldi's awesome. I mean, you have to get past the look of it. I mean, yeah,
There's no frills.
There's
honey.
no frills. You're not going to find a little old lady giving you cheese samples on the carpeted floor with your little mini cart and music playing in the background.
In fact, you have to pay for your cart. You put a quarter in to get your cart, and that the reason they do that is to eliminate employees or jobs and to keep the cost down.
So they don't have to go collect the carts out in the parking lot.
And I
because
will
people
say
aren't getting their quarter back.
that my good deed every week is I just keep that quarter in the cart for somebody that can't afford it. So pay it forward every week. I can afford a quarter, and so I always just leave it in for the next person.
Yep. Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, no, it is. It feels like a discount store when you walk in, but it's it's cheap, but their prices are lower because they cut elsewhere, not on the quality of food, but on employment and stuff like that.
Employees, frills, displays.
Oh, and how many items they have on their shelf. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But so Aldi is our go-to. We stop there first.
Yeah.
And then we also both shop at Target. So whatever we don't get at Aldi, we go to Target. And the reason I do that is because we have a red card. So we save 5% every time we check out, and then they also have Cartwheel there, and then we can just get home items as well. So it's one less stop along the way if we need other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to Aldi first, we always end at Target, and that's especially nice if you need to get some toiletries, like someone needs deodorant or toothpaste or whatever.
Even though Aldi has that, but not a huge selection.
Yeah, you can round out your list generally at Target, because Aldi doesn't always have everything. They don't necessarily have some of the lesser common items, or their selection is a little more unreliable because they have different products coming in all the time, and they don't carry as many or as much of a variety of products. So sometimes you do just have to go to a second store to round out your list.
Yeah.
And then the third one, other than Target, is Trader Joe's. Sometimes instead of Aldi, we'll go to Trader Joe's just because they have some more specialty items that we like. So
just to change it up.
Yeah, just to change it up and to stock up on some of those items. So maybe every third week we'll go to Trader Joe's instead of Aldi, and we'll get stock up on things like coconut milk, turkey burgers, chocolate covered bananas that we like from the freezer. My husband likes some cereals there. Just a few things
Your
that
favorite
we can't.
Things.
Yeah, like we can't get it at Aldi. We can't get it at Target. So we'll go to Trader Joe's and pick up as much as we can from Trader Joe's because they're also still cheaper than Target. And one tip about Trader Joe's that I really, really love is that they don't price their produce by the pound. They price it by the piece.
I didn't know that, actually.
So if you think about it, if you go to Target and apples are $2.99 a pound, you'll probably try to pick, if you're on a budget, you might try to pick smaller apples so you have less weight. But at Trader Joe's, the smallest apple and the biggest apple cost exactly the same.
So get the big one.
So if you're at Trader Joe's, you better believe if you see me there, I'm like picking up the honking apples, the biggest potatoes.
That's
like,
funny. I had no idea. Sis.
Go for
That's
the big stuff because you're paying the same amount as if you pick the smaller one at Target. So you're getting more for your money at Trader Joe's with the produce. So that's the third store that we frequent. And then lastly, of course, is the bulk items. So Costco and Sam's Club. We're Costco, she's Sam's Club. And we make about a monthly trip to Costco, I would say. And we usually go on a Friday night because it's way less busy.
Date night.
Pretty much with the kids. But then we always pick up a pizza, and that's our dinner for the night. And they're super cheap. It's like $8 for a huge pizza. And the kids like going there. So, we get chicken breasts, we get big pork loins, we get some produce there, depending on the prices, just because
what can stay.
Yeah, what can stay good for a decent amount of time. We get our dog food there. They have a really great grain-free dog food. If we need milk, we'll get milk, shredded cheese, cage-free eggs, nuts, bay juice. I call it bay because it's
she
my
loves
love.
that shit.
So yeah, we make about a monthly trip to Costco, and usually we'll spend $150 to $200 there each month.
Yeah, and so we go. We go probably every month or month and a half, and we don't go for staple food usually. Whatever we need in bulk, we'll get that at that time. But we go for dry goods or household goods like toilet paper, paper towels, diapers, and wipes. And then of course we've got some. The staples that we know we're going to need a lot of, we'll grab at that time too, but we don't count on it. We don't add that necessarily into our weekly grocery list, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more because we're really specific on our lists. So it's just what we need at the time, we'll get in bulk there.
Yep. So obviously there are a lot of options to choose from if you are on a budget and you still want to eat healthy. You don't have to shop at Whole Foods or Firely's or your co-op. The only thing to think of is,
what is it?
I'm losing my train of thought. So organic versus non-organic, I think that's going to come into price as well.
And preference.
And preference,
I mean,
yeah.
It just truly is your own preference. We can't talk about what it is that we prefer. I guess we can, but it doesn't mean that's what is a priority for you. So
yeah. So for me personally, I don't care about organic. We buy conventional everything unless organic's the only option. Like at Trader Joe's, some of the stuff we buy is just organic. That's just what they have. And the same with Costco, like some of their canned goods that we buy, they only have an organic option, and it's still a better price than if we were to buy individual cans. But for me personally, I don't stress about it. I don't seek out organic, but that's my preference.
Yeah, I'm not super passionate about organic or not. If usually, especially at Aldi, because it's still very reasonably priced, I will grab the organic or the Never Any brand over the regular brand. And that's usually, I'm a little bit more picky about it in meats than I am any produce. So that's just my personal opinion. We didn't grow up on organic foods, and so we turned out perfect. And so, yeah, we're just not, our family's not huge on it. But if it's an option and it's reasonably priced and fits within the budget, I will get organic over not. So,
yeah. All right, so
easy ways to save.
Yeah, I think we're gonna move on to easy ways to save. I think I'll run through my list, and then if you want to add yours and add comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so first way that we save money is we don't really buy much snacks or prepared food. So by that I mean we don't have a lot of chips, crackers, cookies, granola bars. We don't keep a lot of that around. At any given time, the kids might have goldfish, graham crackers, or pretzels to choose from for a quick snack, or maybe an applesauce pouch, something like that. But we don't buy a lot of like boxed or bagged items to use as snacks. We try to stick to cheese sticks, fruit, applesauce.
Fresh is best.
Yeah, just stuff that we have in the fridge, or more like ingredients than something that's already prepared and packaged. Because if you think about it, convenience costs money. So, if you're buying those pre-chopped vegetables or pre-made salads.
Or even pre-made shitty food, right? Like, that's why, I feel like a lot of my clients who are looking to better their body, they don't feel like they can afford real foods because they think it's more expensive. But gosh, I mean, a lot of people are paying for convenient foods and pizza. I mean, even a pizza at a grocery store is like $8 or something like that. Or, prepared or even prepared organic food like Annie's and stuff like that. That's all really expensive as opposed to buying the ingredients to make what's inside. So convenience is costing you money.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, compare the price of like cut up fruit tray at Target and then compare it to like buying the fruit and that you would use to make that fruit tray, and it's insane how much they charge for cut up fruit.
Yeah, or that little dumb bag of like broccoli and cauliflower is like $4, and you can get
a head is like $2.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you get much more. So yes, convenience is one way to cut out. Just get your hands dirty, do some work, do some prep work, and it's going to save you some money.
But here's the thing to think about. If time is your limiting factor, you may have to pay more for convenience. So you can save time, but you might have to pay more money. You can save money, but you might have to spend more time. Mm-hmm. So it's all about kind of balancing what your priorities are and what you have time for or the budget for.
Yeah.
So, I think for your clients, if they're saying they don't have money to buy healthy foods
and invest in training,
maybe they need to dedicate some time to, buy the ingredients for the food and cut it up themselves, or, do more home cooking so that they can afford it. They just might have to give up some time that they spend doing something else. Maybe it's watching TV, maybe it's taking a nap on Sunday. There's always trade-offs.
Yeah.
because obviously we shop this way because saving money is a priority for us, and I'm willing to spend the time to prep stuff on Sundays or spend a little bit more time making dinner on the weeknights. So it's all dependent on what you're willing to give up to make a change.
Yep.
So the next thing is really just buying what you need every week instead of
this is huge.
Throwing a bunch of stuff in the cart because it's on sale or you just feel like it. We have a list that we go to the store with every week, and we stick to that list. We don't throw extra stuff in just because, and if we do, there has to be a reason for it. For example, maybe we weren't planning on buying butter, but there's a really good sale and we can throw that in the freezer so it's not like it's going to go bad. Stuff like that comes up sometimes, but we really stick to our list. Excuse me. The only thing we do kind of stock up on sometimes is like our pantry staples. So like I always have a whole bunch of cans of coconut milk because we use it in a lot of recipes, and we pretty much only buy it at Trader Joe's. So when we go there, I always stock up on that, or like diced tomatoes or brown rice. That's stuff that even if I don't have a plan for it that week, I keep it on hand because you never know when something might change
or whatever.
Yeah, we just need something on the fly.
Yeah.
But sticking to your list and only buying what you need is a really great way to keep your budget under control. And another way to stick to your list is don't even go down the aisles that you don't have stuff on your list.
Yeah.
Like we don't really ever have chips on our list because we buy our tortilla chips at Costco, and that's really the only chips we buy. So we don't even go down the chip aisle at Target because, I'd be drawn into those Buffalo Ranch Doritos or something.
Cool Ranch Doritos.
And I don't need that. So especially I'm on the Whole30, so I can't have it anyway.
But I
so if you really want to maximize your budget and stick to it, just don't stay away. Keep your eyes on your own cart.
We should bring up that question we got last week. This is a perfect time for it. I think it's somebody said that if it's in the house, they're going to eat it. So how do I not eat it? And it was so cute, and we love her. And so we just kind of said it's a little bit of self-control. It's so like going to the grocery store and just staying away from your triggers. So if chips are your thing, love salt, so that's something that if I see it, gosh, I want it so bad, and I will make some excuse, so just trying to stay away from it. If it's in your cupboard, again, that's a really, really hard thing. So she was mentioning that her fiance wants to put on weight, and she wants to lose weight, and he's buying, foods that aren't probably good for her to be eating. And so she's like, how do we make this work? If it's in my house, I want to eat it, and blah, blah, blah. So we kind of said a little bit of self-control goes a long way. And then we also said, well, Melissa had a great point, is to just, if he wants those kinds of foods, it's to buy smaller items. So let's say he wants Oreos. Instead of getting a whole pack of Oreos, get that little pack at like the checkout aisle, so then he can have that, and then it's gone and out of your sight. So again, just self-control goes a long way when you're trying to stick to your budget as well. So
yeah. And like if you're an abstainer like me, if you have like a cake pan full of brownies or something, you want to eat them like as fast as possible just so they're gone, instead of like eating one a day for like 10 days in a row. So yeah, just keep it out of your house.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot
or
harder
make a
to
healthier
eat it.
option. That's always fun too. I mean, we're
Make
getting
black bean brownies.
Oh, I mean, they're actually really good, but that's a whole nother topic.
Maybe we'll talk about that on the 4th week.
Yeah, let's do it. And then my easy ways to save are a little bit different than, you're not quite done, but I'll jump in. So like I said, we go for Target, we go there because of the red card, 5% off our purchase every time we check out. They have Cartwheel, which I scan every single one of my items, and like the aisle as we
I hold up the aisle as
so we do Cartwheel, and then we're not great at this, but we try at times when I'm making my meal plan is to go meatless 1 or 2 days a week. So ways to do that, it doesn't have to be pasta necessarily, which we do sometimes, but it can be breakfast for dinner. So doing eggs, or we do like tomorrow night on our menu is an egg salad. or egg salad sandwiches. So it's just a good way, and eggs are so cheap, so it's a good way to stay within budget and then not have one hearty, chicken meal or red meat meal. And then we will talk about how we plan out our weeks, but George and I always have in mind when we make a dinner where we're thinking about what is going to be for lunch the next day. So usually I would say, 4 out of 7 days of the week, dinner is lunch the next day. So that's a great way to save. Last night, for instance, we got a rotisserie chicken for like $6. That fed George, Sully, and I, and we were both plenty full. And then we have a whole container left over for the next few days to put on salads or in quesadilla or whatever that is. So that's a great way. And then, of course, this is the whole topic, but just planning it out is the best way to save money. And then I think, when we break down how we do our planning, it's going to make a little bit more sense, although we've touched on it, but I think planning is key.
Yep. So. Yeah, and so some other ways that I had on my list, obviously go generic,
We grew up on Surefine. I haven't heard that word in a while, but.
Costco or Aldi has their own brand, so you don't find a lot of mainstream brands. Occasionally they'll get kind of like random mainstream brands, but they have their own brands, and that makes it less expensive too. But then even when you go to Target, get the Market Pantry, get the Archer Farm.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you're going to be saving money there.
I've got a husband that doesn't think it's the same thing, but
Me too. My husband does not do generic cereal. He has to have the name brand cereal.
My husband only wants Country Hearth bread. And so, it's just funny. It's just the things. We grew up on generic food, and so for us it's just not an issue, but I know for a lot of people or their spouses or whoever it is, and it's so funny. And some things I will say do taste better on a real brand. Is that, I guess, what we're going to call it? Name brand, yeah. And so go with them. That's fine, but it's just the majority of things you can't even tell.
Yeah, especially like canned goods. There's no way you could tell the difference between an Aldi brand of canned black beans and the Bush's black beans. If you can, you're...
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you.
Precious. That's what we'll call you.
You're a special snowflake. Obviously, shopping in season. I'm sure everyone has heard that one, but when you're buying your produce, look for what's the cheapest. Like right now, berries are super expensive unless you shop at Aldi.
Yeah.
They have like big pints of blackberries for under $2. Yeah. But when you're at Target, look for the produce that's cheaper. Maybe you don't need to buy as many berries during this time of year because they're more expensive. And you'll stretch your dollar and get more fruit or vegetables if you stay in season.
I will add too that frozen anything, so frozen meat, frozen fruits, and frozen veggies, there is absolutely no difference in the quality and no difference in nutritional value. So frozen veggies are just that. They're what you would get in the fresh produce aisle, but just put in a bag in the freezer. There's no preservatives in the majority of them. It's just is what it is. And with meat, you're going to save $1 or $2 by getting the frozen ground beef or ground turkey in a tube than you would fresh by the meat area of the store. And again, there's no difference in the quality of meat. It's just the freshness of the meat.
Yeah, and speaking of meat, one thing that we do to save money on meat, because meat is an expense, it can get really expensive to buy a lot of different meats every week. So what we do is we shop at Costco for a lot of our meat. For chicken breasts, we get a big 6-pack, and usually that's about $20 to $22. And then we buy a big pork loin that's like 2 feet long, 2 feet long, and out of that we get 2 roasts and like 14 pork chops.
Do you cut it up yourself?
Yeah, we cut it up ourselves. Well, my husband does.
I was gonna say, come on.
And then we put everything in the freezer, so we have pork that will last us probably 3 to 4 months.
And how much?
And
is
it's
that?
about $18
that's crazy.
for that much food. So it is more of an investment right up front, but if you think about it, you would pay $18 for maybe 2 or 3 pairs of pork chops if you bought them in the store. So having a club membership like Costco or Sam's Club can really help save money on some of those more expensive items. And those stores are getting really a lot better about having organic
Mhm.
meats too, and like hormone free and that kind of thing. So
Yep.
the other thing you could do is buy like a half of a pig or a quarter of a cow
And share it with your family.
and share it with your family. We do that with our dad. We get I think a quarter of a pig, and so we get Italian sausage, we get pork chops, we get ham, we get bacon, and that probably lasts us again about 4 to 6 months, and that maybe costs us a couple $100.
Mhm.
So like we never buy bacon at the store because we get maybe like 8 to 10 packs, and that lasts us for the year because we don't make a ton of bacon.
And we do, so that does not last as long.
But I really love the Italian sausage, so
Yes, me
like
too.
I basically this year I was like I only want Italian
Yeah.
sausage.
Us too. Like, what can we make with Italian sausage? Because we had so much and we love it.
Yeah, it adds a lot of flavor to dishes, so I really like Italian sausage. So those are some ways to get meat. The other way is like Molly said, the frozen meat. Like at Aldi, you can get a pound of ground turkey for $1.69 in the frozen
Crazy.
section, which I think is the cheapest I've seen a pound of ground meat anywhere.
Mhm.
At Trader Joe's, you can get a box of 4 turkey burgers for $3. There's a lot of other options than just buying the fresh meat at the store. So if meat expense is an issue for you, just kind of think outside the box a little bit, or maybe think inside the box, because maybe your protein can come from a box of turkey burgers
Yeah.
instead of buying a pound of raw turkey and getting the same amount of food, but you're actually paying more for the fresh.
Right, and same with any meat. So even chicken, a bag of chicken is nothing different about it. It's just not fresh. So
Yeah.
getting a bag of frozen chicken can be a huge cost saver as well.
Yeah, so then, like Molly said, planning ahead and making a list is a great way to save money, because then you're not going to the store and like, oh, did I have ketchup? I can't remember. I'm just going to grab a bottle. And then you go home and you're like, oh, I had one in the pantry.
Yeah.
So it's just a great way to make sure you're not buying things you already have or things you don't need. And next week, we're going to talk more about the meal planning aspect. But today we want to talk more about budget.
Mhm.
So then the last thing that we want to talk about and that we do on a regular basis to save time and money is we only shop once a week. Well, we do. Do you?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
Oh yeah, once a week.
So for me, our whole family actually goes. I think my husband would rather take 2 kids through the store than stay home alone with them.
Yeah, because you're there.
Yeah, because it's just a good way to like get us all out of the house.
Well, it's a good family thing.
And the kids love it. They love sitting in the big cart, and Violet is to the age now where she'll kind of walk with me sometimes, and I'll give her stuff to put in the cart. So we just kind of make it a family affair. We take maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours max on a Saturday or Sunday to get our shopping done for the entire week. And then the ways that saves us time and money is, one, the fewer times you have to step foot in a store, the less money you're going to spend, because we all know that you can't go to Target and just get butter, because you have to walk all the way to the back of the store to get that butter. And on the way there, you see this new chip flavor, or ooh, those cookies look good, or oh, I think I'm gonna go look at the clearance clothes.
Yes, it's trouble.
So if you only go to the store once a week, you have a lot less temptation to buy extra stuff, which is obviously going to save you money.
Yeah.
And calories probably, because you're not going to be impulse buying those cookies that you see as you're walking to
At
the
the
checkout.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm pretty strict about is if I get home and I realize I forgot something, I don't go back and get it or stop a different day.
Not as good at that.
I either make do without it, I improvise with something that we already have, or I just tweak the recipe to
Work with what you
I just like tweak it, so instead of, okay, if we're out of sour cream or something, I'll tweak it from like a Mexican dish to something else.
Oh, sure.
Or figure something else out. Maybe I'll use coconut milk or something instead. So by not going back to the store, again, I'm not getting tempted, and I'm not spending money when I can just get creative and save that time of actually making the trip to the store.
I will say that's when we do go over budget, is when you don't just go for that one item. Usually it's like, oh, I kind of want a treat or I want a snack, and so that's when our budget kind of goes awry. I can tell that if we're not really careful with our, checking what we have first after we make our weekly meal plan. And like I did this yesterday, I forgot something, and so I had to, I don't remember what it was, or I got something. George's like, oh, we already had that, and it's like, oh, I just missed it, or I wasn't thinking about it. So it's just making your making your meal plan, and then we also then go off just the ingredients list. So we usually have our gosh, why do I keep saying that? Our meal plan in front of us, and we just go through the pantry to see what we have and what we don't, and then go from there. But if we don't do that and we're just getting a little loosey-goosey and relaxed with it, that's when I notice that our grocery budget goes up by, and it's not just a little, usually it's up by, $50 to $75 at the end of the month, because we are making these one-off runs.
Mm-hmm. And you said that when you guys go to the store, you each generally will pick out a want item, right?
Yes. So, so how George and I plan our week is, and this was so him, and now I love it, not me, but so Monday through Monday, we write down the day of the week, and then we write under it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so every single meal for every single day of the week has an item written next to it. So it's not like, oh, we're just going to wing it on Saturday. Nope, every single thing has a line item. So, and then in order to still have our snacks on hand, ones that we want, and just to not feel like so deprived, because we can afford to get snacks, but like just to not have a ton on hand. Like, you will never open our pantries and be like, geez, what to pick today? I mean, I pick a snack, George gets a snack, and then we get Sully a fun snack for the week. And by fun, I don't necessarily always mean unhealthy. It can be at times. Like, last week mine was like ice cream. I was just wanting ice cream, and I usually want salt. So I usually get a chip or something like that. And then George is the sweet person, and Sully always has the healthy snacks, but just a variety. But we just get that one for the week, and that's kind of our treat. So yeah, it's a good way to like not run to the store, during work and get something that you really want because you haven't had it in a long time. So yeah, that's our way to just kind of give us what we enjoy, but to stay on budget with it. And the same goes with like beverages. I'll just pick a beverage or two a week. It's usually sparkling water because I like carbonation. Very rarely do we ever get soda. And then Sully, I kind of get him like an all-natural or organic juice of some sort, just to give him
sugar added.
Yeah, just to give him a variety, because I don't love drinking water all the time. Why should he have to? And he doesn't like milk. So yeah, we just pick, and then that's that, and that's what we have for the week.
Yeah, but I think that is a good way. Then at least you have something in the cupboard that you would want to snack on,
Mm-hmm.
when you're watching TV at night or whatever. But you're not going crazy and having 10 options to choose from. And that's kind of how we do it at our house too. Like, my husband has, I like it too, but he has this really good s'mores ice cream from Target that he likes a lot. So we always have a carton of that, and we'll have a little bit for dessert. And then for me, it's usually like chocolate covered banana slices that we keep in the freezer, or we get these chocolate covered berries from Costco,
I love those.
sort of as our treat. So we always have that stuff in the fridge, but there's plenty of times I go into my cupboards and I'm like, there is nothing to eat. But then I would prefer it that way than having a ton of like chips and snacks, because I don't need those for one thing. And
then there is always something to eat. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You
find
usually
something.
have peanut butter and an apple in your house. So it's
Right.
like, that's your snack. We do that all the time. Or our go-to, actually, usually every week we pick maybe 2 or 3 different veggies to throw in the cart, and then right when we get home, and we'll talk about this I think a little bit more next week, but that's kind of our snack, as well as just the raw fresh veggies in kind of a hummus or a dip that you like. So sometimes we don't even get the extras because that's what we snack on. Same with like yogurt. I usually have yogurt in my refrigerator. We usually have some kind of a berry, so you can make a parfait right there.
Yeah.
A bowl of cereal is a snack, or oatmeal. I mean, so you just have to look beyond the Doritos and save some money, because gosh, a bag of Doritos is like $5. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way
Go to Aldi and get the vegetable chips for like
so
$2.29.
Yes.
They are so good. I probably could eat a whole bag in one sitting.
Yeah, and they're
so good.
and
they're like root vegetable chips.
And you get them at anywhere else, Co-op or Whole Foods, and they're like $6 a bag, and they're the same exact thing, the same exact ingredients, which makes me, I've been talking to my husband about this because we do talk, and we're going to talk about the perception of of Aldi especially, and some facts on it. And so this is a great segue, but I think, he's was a little reluctant of Aldi for a while. He's definitely on board now that I kind of handed over the meal planning and the grocery shopping to him one month, because it was a point of contention in our relationship where he would be like, hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? I'm like, when I wasn't on, or I'd say something, we didn't have all the ingredients. So he would be like, all right, like I just, can we get on some kind of a program? Or why did you get this bread? I like this bread. And then I finally was like, look, honey, you do it. Okay, you do it for 1 month, you stay on budget, you get healthy foods, and let's see how that goes. And shit, he did a really good job because he planned it so well, and he, really thought it out, and he did the grocery shopping, and I didn't have to do it. It was just such a nice relief. And then I realized I was missing out on that. So then I was like, well, let me help you with the menu. And then now we all go to the grocery store, usually together, unless it's a one-off week and I just have to go alone. But it just really helped him see that, okay, maybe to stay on budget, we really should think about going to Aldi. He's fine with eating the food, but he would just prefer to go to one store. So when he shops, he goes to Target. And then I've been talking about wanting to do a little experiment. So we're going to have the same menu one week, and I think I'll do this report back. Same menu one week, same exact menu the next. And 1 week we're just going to shop at Target, and the next week we're just going to shop at Aldi's. And we want to price compare, because I just cannot walk down the aisles now anymore at other stores and buy, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, $1 cheaper, $2 cheaper. I just cannot wrap my head around it. So yeah. I'll do that little experiment and I'll let you know how it goes. But it's really kind of cracking those hard eggs and just standing firm and like bringing them with you, and or just not, and making dinners, and that person might not even notice where you go shopping. So there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot. I feel bad for Aldi because it's such a great place with really good foods and different foods, and so it's just kind of cracking the code and
I think they're gaining steam though.
Yeah, they are.
Seem like they're getting more popular. Yeah, and I think early on, people thought the store was dirty. Yeah, they were kind of judging it from the look of the store, which
we all know.
It's easy to do that sometimes, but. Trust me, the Target bathroom is just as dirty as the Aldi bathroom that I've noticed. Trust me, I go to them a lot because I have a 3-year-old who, is still figuring out when she has to go to the bathroom.
There are better Aldis than others, just like there are better Targets and Cub Foods and stuff. So you can sometimes I go to the suburbs and I just don't want to go to my inner city Aldi at certain times during the day. So I'll go to the suburbs as a little treat, and it feels really nice to go out there. So yeah, I mean, I think it just depends where you live. But I wanted to talk a little bit about like some Aldi facts that people might not know. It is the fastest growing food chain in the country. It started in Germany, but now it's been in the United States for a while. And that's honestly just thanks to the good quality food. They really are committed to giving their customers as natural foods as possible and the lowest prices as possible. They also have a double back guarantee. So let's say you get something and you're like, you know what, this isn't what I thought it would be, or it was just tasted off. You'll get that item back and they'll refund you the money. So it's a double back guarantee, so they really stand behind their products, which I like. And then 90% of the food on Aldi's shelf is their exclusive brand, so that's why it can be less expensive, and it honestly makes grocery shopping so much faster. You're not looking at an entire row of pickles. You have one or two to choose from, and you get it and go, and so it saves on time. You don't have to price match. It's just the lowest prices is on the shelf, and they really work hard to find the best quality at the lowest prices. And in fact, they have usually on average, like Melissa was saying before, they don't have everything you need. They choose the fastest moving items to put on their shelf. So they have on average 1,400 items in their store, whereas a grocery store has 30,000 items. So think about that. I mean, that's going to cut, like I said, cut down on time, and they are doing the best they can and finding the best things the cheapest way possible for their shoppers.
Yeah, I think the Aldi has like 6 aisles maybe versus like 20 at
Which
Target.
makes people think it's this like discounted store. Like we're getting food at Goodwill. You know, it's like people aren't bringing their food back, and it's not bad food. It's not open food. It's just they're choosing the fastest moving items and keeping their prices low. But most importantly, I want to talk a little bit about the good stuff, about how they keep their food as natural as possible, and one of the reasons why I love going. So they don't allow, or they don't have any artificial growth hormones in their milk at all, any brand, and in the majority of their dairy products. But they have promised to remove them from all dairy products, no matter the brand. So I think they just have a couple different brands on their shelf, but that's their goal. And they're, they told their customers they're working hard at that. And then they have a brand that's called Never Any. So anytime you see it on the front of a package, Never Any, that means there's no antibiotics and there's no hormones. There aren't any byproducts or additives in that item of food. They also, the Aldi brand, will put all their nutritional information on the front of the package, not on the back. So that's just an easy way to look and say, yep, it fits with my goals, or it doesn't.
But always read the ingredients.
Yeah, they don't put the ingredient list on the front, just like the nutritional facts.
Yeah.
Which we kind of talked about isn't super important, but I do like that they are making it convenient for those that care. Yeah. And then Aldi also has a really great fancy section, and I know it sounds silly, but their cheeses are amazing. They've got so many different kinds of cheeses. They have salmon and organic coconut oil and tons of fun salsas and guacamoles. If you do want to do something different, they always have a fun kind of specialty item selection.
Yep.
And then the Aldi's brand has removed any and all synthetic coloring, MSGs from all their private labeled goods. So I think their private label is it Kirkwood, and then I can't remember
for the meats.
For the meats, and then I can't remember what it is. And speaking of meat, so the majority of meat there, it actually does come from more well-known name brands. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's Tyson or something like that. Tyson chicken is actually just bought by Kirkwood, and then if it's a Never Any brand, it's separate. But it's usually, it's the same stuff you'd get anywhere else with just a different label on it, which is kind of crazy. So I hope that kind of debunks some of your views on Aldi and helps you, I don't know, give it a shot. I did an Instagram story yesterday about all my Aldi finds, and I had so many people saying, oh my gosh, I tried it years ago and I just wasn't sold. I have to go back. I had no idea that they had as much of an organic selection as they do, or all natural. And I will say, I read somewhere, I don't know the exact stats, but they are right next to Whole Foods in product ratio of organic to not organic. So they're doing such a good job making sure that their grocery store is, being utilized and the best for their customers. So we are huge fans, if you can't tell.
Yeah, and so we are going to do a little giveaway this week for our webinar. So we will include instructions in the email, but if you watch this, reply to the email that we send you with the recording, and you'll be entered to win a gift card from Aldi. Because we love it so much, and a little money can go a long way there.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to see how much you can get for as little as possible there.
It's crazy. We'll walk out with we have this huge reusable bag, and it will be overflowing for $40.
Yeah.
And then we go to Target and have a smaller reusable bag, not even full, and it'll be $60 or something.
It's crazy.
So it really is nuts. I would challenge everyone to go there and buy their regular groceries that they would buy at Cub or Target, just compare how much money you save, because it really is amazing, and there's no reason not to. And then we're also going to send a little handout that has some of our favorite foods from Aldi, Trader Joe's, and Costco or Sam's Club. So maybe there's something new that you haven't tried before that you can discover. And maybe
send us your favorites.
Yeah,
too,
let us know.
Something.
Or maybe there's a store that we don't know about. Maybe Cub is super awesome. I don't think I've ever stepped foot in a Cub. Or maybe there's a little hole-in-the-wall co-op or something that's really cool. Let us know. And if you have any other tips for saving money when you are shopping, let us know too, and we can report back.
Yeah.
And then we will be back next week. We're going to talk about meal planning and kind of walk through how we do that, and then how that leads into this once a week shopping trip on our budget. And then the following week we're doing tying together food and fitness. So Molly will go a bit more into the background and how food can fuel your body and how food can kind of help you go from the inside out. So hopefully this was helpful for you. We had a lot of fun. Off the top of your head, name your favorite Aldi food.
Gosh, there's so many. I think the veggie chips are definitely top.
That's definitely top.
But I love their fruit just because you can get so much for so little.
Yes.
Some people think that it's not as high quality, but I beg to differ.
I haven't noticed that at all.
Yeah,
The only downside I will say to their produce is they use a lot of packaging. There's a lot of like styrofoam trays, plastic wrap, like on their vegetables, and so I don't love that as someone who tries to like, I bring my reusable bags. I have reusable produce bags that I use at Target, and I can't really use those at Aldi because everything's already prepackaged.
Gosh, I'm like racking my brain. There's so many favorites. I think I just did like the quickest one, but
I love the little salad bar salsa.
yeah,
It's like the pico de gallo.
Yes.
It's like really it's kind of like garlicky, but it's really fresh tasting. That's probably my favorite, one of my favorite things to get there.
Yeah, there's so much, you guys. Just check it out.
Yeah, and really look through the aisles and stuff because it's easy to miss some of this stuff. Like they have baby food pouches now.
Oh yeah, those
diapers.
A lot of times we'll go there just for those if we ran out.
And they're all organic.
Yeah, all organic baby food pouches. And they're 79 cents in comparison to any brand is at least $1.25 or $1.30. So that's a huge go-to for me as well.
Yeah,
and
they
the
have
list
sparkling
goes on
water
and
now.
on. Yeah, $2.99 for a 12-pack of sparkling water.
Yeah.
Gosh, they should pay us.
Yeah, Aldi, give us a holler.
All right, thank you so much. We're likely going to record the next series as well.
We can't handle any more technology.
We'll be in
failure.
touch. All right, thank
Thanks.
you.